皆様、本日はお忙しい中、
Ladies and
また
gentlemen,
遅い時間に
thank
も
you
かかわ
for
らず、
attending despite your busy schedules and despite the late hour and on short notice. We would now like to start the joint press conference between Suzuki Motor Corporation and Toyota Motor Corporation. First of all, let me introduce the participants. We have the chairman of Suzuki Motor Corporation, Mr. Osamu Suzuki, and the president of Toyota Motor Corporation, Mr. Akio Toyoda. So we would now like to ask Mr. Suzuki, chairman of Suzuki Motor Corporation, for his remark.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Thank you for coming. As was just introduced, my name is Suzuki. Thank you very much for your support. Despite the fact it is now late in the afternoon, early evening, I see so many of you who are gathered here. I would like to express my appreciation for your attendance. And also, I'd like to thank President Akio Toyoda for hosting us here at Toyota. I would like to briefly talk about our decision to start exploring ideas on a business partnership with Toyota. As we have been saying, we remain determined to manage Suzuki as an independent corporation. However, technological competition in the automotive industry in areas such as information technologies has been evolving rapidly. As you may know, Suzuki's current business focuses on mini vehicles in Japan and in India when it comes to operations outside of Japan. Even in such countries, we have understood that there will be uncertainty in the future if we only continue to just refine our traditional automobile technologies, which we have been working on thus far. I have been discussing these issues with Toyota's honorary chairman, Shinichiro Toyoda, at various times. And quite recently, I think it was in September, I ventured further to discuss with Dr. Toyoda about whether we can explore on ideas to collaborate with Toyota. We were pleased that Dr. Toyoda had responded that it would be good to at least discuss the potential collaboration between the two companies. Last week, I had an opportunity to consult with President Akio Toyoda, and we had a discussion. He also expressed an interest in the idea of collaboration with Suzuki. And we agreed to discuss on the nature of the collaboration which we could work on together. I am very grateful to President Toyoda for accepting our idea to start the discussion, and I am determined to proceed with the consultations for Suzuki's future. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Now, we'd like to ask the President, Akio Toyoda. I am Akio Toyoda, and thank you very much, Chairman Suzuki. Thank you all very much for taking the time to come to our Tokyo office at such a late hour, especially when you are all busy. And I appreciate all of your constant support, which you have so kindly extended to us. Please let me talk about our decision to explore ideas on the partnership with Suzuki as well. As the chairman, Mr. Osamu Suzuki, has mentioned earlier, technical competition, such as in the area of information technologies, has been changing drastically at an unprecedented speed. In addition to efforts to tackle environmental and energy issues, as well as to ensure our customers' safety and security, we are required to work on the R&D of advanced and future technologies, such as on automated driving. However, in these fields, there is a limit to the R&D which each company is conducting individually. We have to be mindful of management resources and additionally be conscious that it is increasingly important to collaborate with other companies on the coordination of infrastructure and the creation of partnerships for the establishment of industrial standards. At the joint news conference held with Daihatsu early this year, I said that Toyota is not really good at creating alliances. Traditionally, Toyota had been fixated on the need to be able to cover all our own bases. However, as the surrounding environment is changing drastically, we need to have the capability to respond to changes in order to survive. And this is exactly the challenge that Toyota has to overcome now. We at Toyota are now making efforts for the future, such as through our initiatives which help to promote the creation of a hydrogen society, as well as R&D and the artificial intelligence and robotics fields. In these areas, we are collaborating with other companies to work together on R&D. Although we are only still halfway there, I believe that we have to go forward with the understanding of the importance of the need to create partnerships and the establishment of standardizations. We received an offer from Suzuki regarding collaboration possibilities on advanced and future technologies such as information technology. Suzuki made a frank proposal to us, and in understanding that Toyota is facing the challenges which I have mentioned earlier, we thought that with the relationship between both companies, there is an opportunity for a business partnership to help solve such challenges, and as such we decided to explore such possibilities together. We would like to always keep our doors open for new partnership opportunities which will contribute to the making of ever better cars, as well as to the development of the automotive industry. Toyota has a subsidiary, Daihatsu, as well. Daihatsu will take on a central role in our compact car business for emerging markets. Based on this understanding, we will proceed with discussions about partnership opportunities with Suzuki while taking applicable regulations into account. Lastly, my current thought is on the fact that I am standing here with Chairman Osamu Suzuki here. He is a great senior who has been leading the industry for a long time. In addition, both Suzuki and Toyota had originated from the Enshu area and share similar histories on the establishment of our respective companies. I feel deep emotional ties about the fact, and I sincerely hope that our collaboration will help carve out the way for the future of the automotive industry. Thank you for your kind attention.
At this time, we would like to open the floor for questions. We are scheduled to have 30 minutes for Q&A. Those of you who have questions, please raise your hand and wait until a microphone is brought to you. And please give your name as well as the affiliation before asking a question. And we're not scheduled to have an interview with the two people by a scrum of reporters after the press conference. Miyamoto with Chunichi Shimbun newspaper. I have two questions. The first question is addressed to both the two people. With respect to this partnership, You said advanced technologies, but could you be more specific? That's question one. And two, are you going to proceed to capital relationship? Is that a possibility? Thank you. Today, the two companies, with respect to what was discussed last week, are saying that we're going to study the possibility. So in this respect, nothing has been decided. We say that we are starting to study this. We announced this, and we have a lot of stakeholders. And also for the development of the automotive industry, in view of that, we say that we are beginning this conversation. Where we said that information technologies and so on, but we have also energy issues and environmental issues. In light of these issues, there's only you can only go so far if you just work on them alone. So we would like to just begin to study the possibility. So, including the issue of a capital relationship, nothing has been decided yet. It is exactly as what Mr. Toyota has said. Today, we are announcing that we are now here at this stage, and we are now going to start the consultations. There has been no predetermined matters. Everything is yet to be determined. So the next question I would like to ask Mr. Toyoda, and as was mentioned before, the Daihatsu is now a subsidiary, and to emerging economies, you are now going to launch compact vehicles. Suzuki and Daihatsu are combined. They account for 60% of compact vehicles. So, in view of the relationship with the Daihatsu, what sort of a relationship are you going to establish with the Suzuki, and what's your view on the Anti-Monopoly Act? Daihatsu, as you know, in 1967, since the beginning of our relationship, for 50 years, we have had this historical relationship. So we have shared a long relationship with Daihatsu. So we decided that we would entrust the compact car business to Daihatsu. Suzuki is a great company that has carved out its own future. Well, we are now staged at some sort of seeing each other. And for the two companies and for the development of the automotive industry, what can we do? We would like to consider that. And also with respect to the relationship with Daihatsu, and also with respect to the issue of Anti-Monopoly Act, of course, certainly we would like to keep that in mind as we proceed. When it comes to the concrete ideas, including Daihatsu, between the two companies, we believe that the prerequisite is that we engage in fair and independent competition. So, if need be, we would like to consult with the Japan Fair Trade Commission as we proceed. So, we'd like to entertain just as many questions as possible. So, just 2 questions from each company, please.
Ito from Nikkan Kogyo newspaper. I have 2 questions. So, in the relationship with Daihatsu, I'd like to ask further. You talked about that they will be playing the major role for emerging market, and Suzuki has a strength in India. So, how are you going to cooperate on the Indian business, if you have any views right now? That's the first question. Second question. Now, this might be to Mr. Suzuki. So Suzuki had partnered with GM and Volkswagen, and you have also had some difficulties. And so I'd like to ask you, why is it that you have proposed this kind of partnership with Toyota? Why did you choose Toyota? As regards India, you could say that Suzuki pioneered this market as a frontier, and they wanted to develop the country and develop the automotive industry, and they were actually taking the lead to drive this. And Toyota had similar initiatives in ASEAN countries, and therefore we can have sympathy with their feelings and their actions. Now, the automotive industry in each country has national interest that they bear in many ways. That has been my thought. And they advanced into India earlier than others, and they worked with the people of India to take on this challenge, and I have a high respect for Suzuki. And so it's not with the feeling of using Suzuki for India, because it would, I think, be discourteous to Suzuki. We want to learn their frontier spirit. So, for my question, for over 60 years, there have been, with various manufacturers, opportunities to learn and study from them. That says it all.
Person on the front. Oya with TV Tokyo. I would like to ask questions to both of you. First, to Mr. Suzuki. Since when have you had this idea of partnering with Toyota? Well, on that point, as I mentioned before, early September, I consulted with the honorary chairman. That was the starting point. Since before that, did you have that in mind? No, that is not the case. But we are in the same industry. So we have a business relationship or transactions with Toyota Group companies. So we actually did learn lots of things from them. But as far as this is concerned, it started early September. Please understand it that way. Then to Mr. Toyoda. This idea of partnership, well, the press announcement says it's open to the other companies, but so do you have a big picture? At the end of the day, what kind of arrangement do you anticipate? At the end of the day, well, to begin with, Toyota Motor Corporation is not really good at alliances. That's what I have been saying all along. Since I became president of the company, having said that, making of ever better cars, more advanced vehicles or society that provides better mobility. On these points, we are open with any companies. That's what I have been saying. And this time around, this intention has not wavered. Making of ever better cars, and also we would like to create cars that suit each country, and also in connection with the creation of a society with mobility, Suzuki Motor Corporation has been taking the lead, and in many ways we would like to be open in thinking about the mobility future society, and also in connection with the making of ever better cars. I think we can go along with each other, and so we would like to start discussion on these points. So when it comes to specifics, nothing has been decided. But you would like to involve non-automobile manufacturers. Are you thinking about having partnership with companies in non-automotive industries, for example? Well, for example, the companies that may have technologies that are necessary for autonomous driving or the car delivery services. Well, Suzuki they say that they are medium-sized company, and Toyota is a big company. But I think both two companies are big companies. It's not that we are discussing just between us, but so the automotive industry is a big industry. So, when we make decisions, a lot of stakeholders would be affected. So, in this respect, we are saying that we are beginning this conversation, and perhaps many stakeholders would recognize what we are doing, and they can also proceed with forward-looking discussions. So everything's blank slate. So I think we can say that in any field.
Next question, the person in the blue shirt. From Nippon Keizai newspaper, I have two questions, and first to both speakers. Well, it's like an engagement, and you have your products and your business. And what is it that's appealing to both of you? You could talk about the region or technology or model. What was the point that attracted you to each other? I think there are two things. First is, well, to put it in my own words, the ability to respond to change. In this world, we are seeing lots of big changes, and we cannot foresee those changes. So what is important is not to raise the accuracy of predictions, but rather to be flexible in responding to changes and to build up such a capability. So on that point, Suzuki is showing their strength and is very good at it. And the other thing is to involve the people around you, and what is required of us: superior products, superior technology, yes, but in addition to that, what kind of mobility society are we trying to realize? Should be the consensus with society? In other words, the ability to involve the surrounding environment, people in the surrounding environment, the relevant parties, is important. In that sense, Suzuki, Mr. Osamu Suzuki, the chairman's perhaps is so virtuous, and he has that ability to involve these various peoples and sectors, and I want to learn from that ability. The environment surrounding automobiles, technology, information technology, we can say that there are great changes centering on automobiles, and that being the case, we have to share things. Otherwise, in terms of the overall environment surrounding automobiles, we will not be able to survive in that environment, and therefore the idea is to share. And so that is, you could say, the trigger for making this proposal this time. Thank you very much. Another point, normally in this kind of partnership, the top management would set up some kind of committee, and there will be some roadmap to go forward. And this time, what is the framework that you are thinking about? And if you could also indicate the time horizon? Well, this is only starting from last week. So actually, it's only been 2 days of work. So inclusive of what you have said, I have no ideas right now. Everything starts from here. Thank you very much.
The person at the center.
すみません、東洋経済山田と申します。
Yamada with Toyo
よろしくお願
Keizai.
いいたします。
Thank you
1点目が
for
ですね、
accepting
両者
my
にもちょっと
questions.
伺いたいんですけれど
Question
も、
one, I would like to address this
まだ
to the two gentlemen.
話し始めたばっかりで、
You have just
これから話
started
し始め
this
るの
and
で具体的
you are
な
yet
ことはない
to
ということなんで
start,
すけれども、
so there's no specifics yet.
まあそれぞれにです
That's
ね、
what you
こういう
said.
ところ
But
が
now
先ほ
on
ど
the
これ
part
が
of
点
each
っていうのがあったん
of
です
you,
けれども、
well, someone asked a
こういう
question
ことが
about
できればいいっていう
what attracted you, but what do you
こ
want
と
to
で
do?
構いませんので、夢みたいなものを語ってい
What's
ただ
your
ければと
dream?
思います。まずよろしくお願いいたします。
That's question one.
冒頭で申し上げ
As I said at the outset,
我々は独立した企業として
we are independent companies and we are going to run these companies independently. That remains
情
unchanged.
技術を中心に
Centering around information technologies, the automotive, the environment surrounding the automotive technologies are changing rapidly.
良品
And so
馬作りをやっていく
as
とい
we
うことでは行き詰まっちゃう
continue
んじゃないか
creating, building cars in
そ
an
れの
affordable way and in quality cars, I think cooperation
じゃないかなと
in this respect is important.
私の方がですね、
Well,
鈴木さんも
as far as
トヨタ
concerned, Suzuki and
演
Toyota
習を発祥の地とする
started in the Enshu, originated from the Enshu area. And also we are both, we started as manufacturers of automated
この地
looms.
にありますのがですね、
And we have a spirit of Yaramaika, which means let's do it
最
together.
近よく使っている
Well,
やり
I
ましょう 演習の言葉で言います
use
と
this phrase often, Yaramaika. That's what we say in Enshu area,
生き抜くとともに
meaning let's do it together. We have to survive the hard competitions and we have to carve out the future with the innovative technologies. What is required here is Yaramaika spirit. I cannot go to specifics, but this
これな
partnership,
らもっといい車作りに向けた
if I venture to
やら
say,
まいかの提供
this is a partnership based upon Yaramaika for making of ever better cars. That is my intention.
提携との違いっていうのは
What's the difference from the partnership with Mazda? Well, the making of ever better cars is the same,
それぞれに
but
車会社の思想があるわけです。
each company has spirit or the idea as car manufacturers. And Toyota, in many ways, for example, BMW or Mazda, Subaru,
ダイハツさん、
Daihatsu,
そして今回鈴木さん
and this time
いろんな
Suzuki.
ところから
From
まだまだ
many
学ぶ点
companies,
という
we
ことの
have
方
lots
が
of
多いと
things
思
to
っています の
learn.
で
We have a lot of things
い
to
ろんな
learn
形
from
で
them.
学ばさせていただ
So
きたいな
we would like to learn in many ways.
すみません、2点目がですね、
My
鈴木会長に
the
伺いたいん
second
ですけ
question,
れ
I'd
ど
like to
も、
ask this question to Mr. Suzuki.
ワーゲンの提携の時でもですね、
At the time of a partnership with the Volkswagen, or when you removed it, or when there was a replacement of a president, you said that you take the lead. Well, when I interviewed you just the other day,
会長としてやっていかなきゃいけない
you
ことが
said
あるという
that there
お
are
っしゃっ
things
たと
that
思うんですけれども、
you
その
want to
大きな
do
荷
as chairman.
物を大きな荷
And
物という
so
か、
this
そのある意
big
味最大
burden,
の課
or
題
in a
を今
way,
回これでベ
the
ルをつけ
greatest
たという
challenge,
ことに
I think
なるのではない
it
かなと
is
思うんですけれ
going
ど
to
も、
be soon behind you,
その辺の
perhaps.
達成感というか、
So what's your sense of
一つ仕事
achievement?
を終えたというような実感があるの
Do
でしょ
you
うかという
feel
と、
that you have done something
これを機に
substantial?
別に会
And
長を
with
辞めろ
this,
とは言いませんけれ
I'm
ども、
not saying
もう
you
少
should
し
quit
そ
as
の社
chairman,
長
but
にも
perhaps
う少し社長前面に出され
you
る、これがき
can
っかけ
put.
になるというふうに考え
Do
て
you
いい
think
んで
this
しょう
would
か。
trigger putting the president of the company
企業
further forward?
経営者というのは
Well, management of the
これ
company
で一段落ということを
for
考えて
someone who runs the
いないと
company.
思います
I don't think
私
no
も
one
そ
thinks
それ以外
about
ではありません
some things behind, and I'm no
経営
exception.
者である以上は
If you are running a company,
チャレンジするということ
you have to continue to take on challenges.
社 社会のためにやっていくんだと。
You are running your company for the benefit of the society, and this remains unchanged
皆さん、
for years.
あなたのおっしゃることは
What you
参
say,
考にさせていただきます。
well, I would like to take it as a reference for myself, but I am of a completely different view. Great.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
私が未熟でした。
Well, sorry for my immature question.
じゃあこちらの一番前。
Person in the front.
NHK の山田と申します。
Yamada from NHK, and I would like to ask two questions. First question to Mr. Suzuki first. That is, Toyota has advanced technologies, and what do you have the highest expectations for? Automated vehicles, connected cars, eco cars. It's quite varied. So what is it in particular that you have expectations for? Well, in all kinds of fields, we are doing R&D, and so I would say all kinds of fields. I think that is how I can answer your question. And now to Mr. Toyoda, I'd like to ask you, in the announcement, there was talk about the infrastructure coordination and new rule making or standardization. So standardization and coordination in infrastructure. In order to enhance your competitiveness globally, what are you trying to do? And by doing so, what is the benefit?
あらゆる分野で
Yes, in all kinds of fields, yes, we have to work.
具体的
And
には具体的にいろ
to
いろ
be
検討するというのは今日は発表
specific,
ですから
yes, the announcement today is that we're going to make a study on various things, so I cannot really answer you.
こういう場合でトップの私が言いますとね
If I, as top management, say something, then people will start from there. So I have to be careful. Let me ask a next question about the capital relationship, and that's a discussion that you will start from here. So I'd like to ask you about this. Mr. Suzuki says that you will be running the company as an independent company, and that's unchanged. And Mr. Toyoda, you said that this is a partnership for ever better cars. So in that direction, perhaps there could be some capital relationship, capital tie-ups, or in the future, maybe it could be an option for Suzuki to join the Toyota group. Or is that a possibility or not? If you could be frank in answering. Well, to be frank, Mr. Shoichiro Toyoda, the honorary chairman, I met Dr. Toyoda in September, beginning of September, and I had a discussion with Mr. Akio Toyoda last week. So I think the question, you are trying to go ahead of us, and we want to think about this in a slow-paced way. How about you, Mr. Toyoda? Yes, I will also think about this in a slow-paced manner. Well, I think our time is running out, but two more questions. Person in the back.
Kagawa with the Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper. I would like to ask the two of you now, as has been mentioned by Mr. Suzuki. Well, Dr. Shoichiro Toyoda has been mentioned many times. In this partnership, well, the two companies are commonly, there's a commonness that both of the two companies have been run by the founding families. So what has been your sense that you have been sharing as both of you are members of the founding families? Yes, it is true that we are the founding families, and Dr. Toyoda and Mr. Osamu Suzuki for many years have been developing the automotive industry of Japan globally. So these are the two people who have been taking the lead. They have been the leaders. And so these two people having a conversation, well, is something that is beyond my understanding because the dimension is different. In terms of history and dimension, it's different. So in light of this, I think that's why they had a conversation. So the honorary chairman, what did he say to me? He said, I saw Osamu. Just this one sentence. And he just mentioned this one sentence. And last week, I saw Mr. Suzuki. And so rather than we are from the founding families, but for many, many years, for the sake of the automotive industry, both of them worked very hard. So that's why they came to this consensus. I think that should be the better understanding. Mr. Suzuki, what do you have to say? I agree. For many years, I became president at the age of 48, and it's been 40 years since I became president. So for a great many years, I have worked hard, and honorary chairman gave me encouraging words that I have been working very hard. And his older brother, well, if you will, to him, so how are you doing? That's what he said to me. And so I discussed a variety of things with him, and about how to make a car, and he also gave me advices as to how to deal with the society. So spontaneously or as a natural course of events, we became very close with each other. That's the kind of relationship that exists between us. Thank you.
Final question. Kindly use the microphone. Asahi Shimbun newspaper, Aoyama speaking. I want to ask Mr. Toyoda two questions. Now, in the partnership this time, so Suzuki would like to have the advanced technology, and in the Volkswagen relationship, I think that was seen. So I think it's reasonable. But as you said, Mr. Toyota, there's the connected cars or automated driving, and I think that Suzuki has strength in other areas. Automated driving technology, maybe not necessarily that. And as you said, Mr. Toyoda, there are benefits like the ability to respond to changes or to involve the surrounding, which are sounds rather abstract. What kind of technology, well, or to be more specific, what would be the advantage or benefit for Toyota Motors? Yes, we're going to think about all kinds of ideas, and this conference is to announce that we're going to start the discussion. The second question. In terms of the standardization that you mentioned, the mini vehicle specification, that is, it matches the Japanese people's lives and the geography, and so it has been received by the Japanese consumer. But you could say that there is a kind of a Galapagos situation here too, and the compact cars of Toyota and Daihatsu cars in development, there is severe competition with Suzuki. So over the mid to long term, in terms of this specification of mini vehicles, Europe has had some criticism. So what are your prospects for mini vehicles? The question is for both of you. I don't think that's really relevant to the discussion today. That's my view. That is, we belong to the same JAMA, and so in a quite common sense way, we will respond and deal with this in this common sense way. That's my view. Also, actually, cars are made by roads in a sense. 85% of the roads in Japan don't even have a center line. And so the size of mini vehicles, you could say, unless it's that size, you cannot have both lanes going one direction and the other lane going in the other direction. So the objective of mobility should not just be to move from point A to point B, but rather there will be feelings and people and things being transported. That's what mobility is about. So I think if it's a specification that matches the way of life in Japan, then that is good. Well, then we would like to wrap up here. And following this, we're going to prepare for a photographing session, so kindly wait a little while.
こちらもお願いします。